Hi there. If you happen to catch this week's energy reading, then you'll notice things are a little bit better than they were on Monday. I've figured out what to do in this new space as I've created it, moving my office/bedroom around. And so we'll see how this works. And welcome to SoulCharged, episode 5, I believe, or is it episode 6? I'm not really sure. It's one of those. Anyway, so we notice our topic for today is energy work. We notice with energy work, we speak of that which is Reiki, master energy, soul energy, source energy. It is healing energy for the self, for others, for the world. There is no restriction as to what can be offered healing when working with energy. And we notice that there is no holding in that which must come out. And for this, we point to an awakening occurring with healing energy. People who have not been certified through Reiki or another modality are noticing awakening to their capacity for healing. And then the energy that has been stored waiting must be pushed, must be expressed. With this, ask yourself, how are you working with energy? If you are already working with energy, what is different? What has changed? Is all as you were taught? If this is this way, then we would ask for you to put upon yourself the objective of casting aside what has been learned, what is a protocol, and instead open with your intuition and notice what is really needed. In this way, you cast aside restrictions, for we notice the protocols commit restrictions where there is meant to be limitless opportunity for healing. When you are committed to a protocol and you are intractable from the protocol, you limit healing. We wish that you will consider all of this and open yourself to the opportunity that lies with the healing energy pouring through you from Source. We notice there is an extreme amount of Source energy pouring through all people at this time. Ask yourself, why? Ask yourself, what is the opportunity with this excess of energy? How might it improve the self? How might it improve others? How might it improve all of Earth? Put your hand over your heart center. Commit to yourself that you will explore alternative ways of working with the healing energy. Okay, Well, that was very interesting. And I will say, as unplanned as that was, completely unscripted, I had a sense that this was going to be the topic because I actually made another version of this video before this one. However, I hadn't figured out the lighting situation and the video was just horrible. So I deleted it, all 20 minutes of it. And please be grateful for that because this is probably going to be half that, maybe less than half of that. So, all things considered, that was definitely for the best. So, yes, energy healing. I was quote unquote brought up on Reiki and brought up since 2009. I received my Reiki 1 certification in June of 2009, and then I did my Reiki 2 certification in October, and my Reiki 3 certification in January of 2010, and then my Master Teacher certification in October of 2010. So I'm very much pro Reiki. That's truly what opened so many doors for me around my intuition and the energy work I do now. That was a huge gateway opener and a game changer for me all the way around. That said, the way I was taught, and I feel the way most people are taught, is a pretty specific protocol. Where to start with your hands, where to place your hands as you go along through a session, where to end with your hands. While that is all well and good, it is restrictive. And I wouldn't have said that 5 years ago. However, so much has changed with how I work with energy because of having master energy come through me and then master energy evolving into soul energy and what I now call source energy, which is like the next evolution of soul energy, that I can really see how restrictive that was for me. I can feel it too. No longer am I bound by a certain way of doing things. I never know when I start with a client how things are going to go until they're happening. And I can understand where for some people, and even for me at first, it could be really unsettling not to know what was happening next, why I was doing certain things a certain way that I'd never done before. And yet, what happens is that each session becomes truly tailor-made for the person on the table, or if you're working remotely, the person that you are intending that energy to. So in that way, people are getting what they need, truly what they need. And the other thing I'll say that has come up of all of this is that what used to be nearly an hour-long session can take as little as, 20 minutes, sometimes even less, depending on what the situation is. And yes, if you're in a position where someone has paid you for an hour-long healing session, there's that question of, okay, now what? Because if your hands are clearly done, and that's what happens with me, my hands remove themselves from either the person's body or their aura, and I know we're complete. So then what do you do with the rest of that time? Well, there are other things you can do. Work with their chakra system. Scan their aura clairvoyantly and see if there's anything going on in there that would be helpful to address. Yes, I'm talking about definitely higher end energy work here when we get talking about discovering artifacts and other energies in auras when you get into really deep chakra work, where sometimes I've seen chakras that are either completely inverted or not even present. And what the heck do you do with that? And that's a discovery all on its own. And yet, if you are surrendered to the process, whatever needs to happen will become clear. So our invitation with all this energy coming through and through us in a way that we really need to express it, it's an opportunity for exploration. It's an opportunity to explore other ways of approaching energy work and deeper ways of approaching energy work. This is work that is really inviting us, maybe even demanding of us, that we look more at the root of what's happening and address that. Like I said, it's deep work. And it's wonderful work, because when we get to the root of circumstances and symptoms that are presenting themselves, that's where the true opportunity for healing lies. Okay? So, that's it for this week. Any questions? Please feel free to leave them in comments, or if you'd rather, you can email me, and I'll be happy to address them to the best of my ability. Until next week, you take really good care. Lots of love.